Hello, very good evening. Welcome to the evening bulletin. Today is the 6th p.m. bulletin coming to you live from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. Will bring you many of the stories across from business, entertainment, sports, the international story, and the local story. Details of the stories and more will be coming your way from our studios here on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, Nungwa at Dogono. Let's first take a look at the headlines.
President Mahama unveils cenotaph in honor of late Defense Minister Edward Omane Boamah. In business, Bank of Ghana unveils 12.9 billion buffer to protect the cedi. And on the international front, editor of Ethiopia's leading independent news site detained by police, publisher says.
Details of these stories and more coming up. We'll bring you more. We also live across our social media handles on MBN 360. We'll bring you details after this break. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has unveiled a kind of tap of honor to the late Defense Minister, Dr. Edward Omane Boamah, paying a tribute to his service and sacrifice to Ghana. The ceremony forms part of activities marking 1 year since the helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 8 state officials.
President John Dramani Mahama has unveiled a cenotaph in memory of the late Defense Minister, Dr. Edward Omane Boamah, as Ghana commemorates the first anniversary of the military helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 8 state officials. The memorial, unveiled at a solemn ceremony attended by government officials, military commanders, family members, and invited guests, stands as a lasting tribute to the lives lost in service to the nation. Addressing the gathering, President Mahama described the fallen officials as patriots whose commitment and dedication to duty would remain etched in the country's history. He called on Ghanaians to honor their memory by upholding the values of integrity, service, and national unity. The event also featured military harness, prayers, and wreath-laying ceremonies in remembrance of the 8 heroes whose deaths prompted renewed calls for improvements in aviation safety and operational standards within the country's security services. The memorial is expected to serve as a place of reflection for future generations on the sacrifices made by those who served Ghana with distinction.
Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, widow and family of our beloved late Dr. Edward Omane Boamah, the Honorable General Secretary of the NDC, Honorable Fifi Kwete, the Acting Minister for Defense and Minister for Finance, Dr. Kessel Atufosen, Minister for Warfare and Patriotic Defense, Burkina Faso, General Celestine Sempori, members of the Council of State, ministers of state, senior government officials, members of parliament, members of the judiciary, chief of defense staff and heads of security services, traditional authorities, members of the clergy, Muslim clerics and religious leaders, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today we gather not only to unveil a cenotaph, but to reaffirm our nation's gratitude to a devoted patriot whose life was dedicated to the service of Ghana. This ceremony honors the memory of the late Honorable Dr. Edward Kofi Omane Boamah, who served our country with distinction as Minister of Defense. A cenotaph is more than stone and inscriptions. It is a lasting reminder that while life may end, the values it embodied, service, integrity, patriotism, and sacrifice, must continue to inspire future generations. Dr. Omane Boamah's Dr. Omanebo-Ama served with diligence, humility, and unwavering commitment to the security and stability of our republic. His contribution to strengthening our armed forces and advancing Ghana's democratic governance will remain part of our national story. For me, this immortalization of Omani's memory is deeply personal. He was a friend, a younger brother, a loyalist, and a close advisor. His loyalty and love for me was undoubted. He stood by my side through all momentous occasions of my political career. Omani was a great human being. His kind is difficult to find in our world today. I thank the Ghana Armed Forces for the honor being done to your former minister today, the only defense minister on record to have died in active service. Let me also take this opportunity to thank my brother, the President of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore, for sending a special envoy in the person of his Minister for Warfare and Patriotic Defense.
And so with the presidency, the President John Dramani Mahama has reshuffled his cabinet, appointing Gilbert Ajay as the Minister for Defense and Dr. Zenato Agyemang-Rawlings as the Minister for Environment, signaling changes in key sectors of government.
President John Dramani Mahama has announced changes to his cabinet, appointing Gilbert Ajay as the new Minister for Defense and Dr. Zenato Agyemang-Rawlings as Minister for Environment. The appointments come as the president moves to strengthen his administration and reposition key ministries to address pressing national priorities, including security, environmental protection, and sustainable development. Gilbert Ajay assumes leadership of the Defense Ministry at a time when national security and military readiness remain high on the government's agenda. Meanwhile, Dr. Zenato Agyemang-Rawlings take charge at the Environment Ministry as Ghana continues efforts to tackle illegal mining, climate change, and environmental degradation. The latest reshuffle is expected to inject fresh leadership into both ministries, with the new ministers anticipated to outline their priorities after assuming office. Further details on the transition and the effective dates of the appointment are expected from the presidency.
And still with the presidency, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has reflected on the shock and grief that followed the military helicopter crash that claimed 8 lives, describing it as a defining moment of the nation, whilst outlining government response to support bereaved families and pursue reforms.
Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman has spoken about the profound shock and grief that engulfed the nation following last year's military helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 8 state officials. Reflecting on the tragedy, she described it as a painful moment that united Ghanaians in mourning, saying the loss was felt not only by the families of the victims, but by the entire country. She urged citizens to focus on the lessons from the tragedy rather than apportioning blame, stressing the need for unity, reflection, and a commitment to preventing similar incidents in the future. The Vice President also highlighted the government's response, including support for the bereaved families, memorial activities to honor the victims, and continued efforts to address their welfare. She reaffirmed the administration's commitment to ensuring the sacrifices of the 8 fallen officials are remembered with dignity and respect.
Moving on, more than 70% of current beneficiaries of Ghana Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty (LEAP) program are expected to exit following a nationwide reassessment aimed at ensuring support reaches the country's most vulnerable households.
More than 70% of beneficiaries under Ghana's Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program are expected to exit the scheme following a nationwide reassessment, according to the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namo-Molatey. The exercise is part of reforms to improve targeting, ensuring that households whose living conditions have improved make way for others facing extreme poverty. Government says the reassessment is intended to strengthen fairness, transparency, and long-term sustainability of the program. Officials say new eligible households will be enrolled to replace those graduating from the scheme, while some exiting beneficiaries will receive livelihood support and financial literacy training to help sustain their progress. The LEAP program, introduced in 2008, remains Ghana's flagship social protection initiative for extremely poor and vulnerable households.
Like I said from the beginning, the target is 400,000 household beneficiaries, and proud to our reassessment, we have 350, and about 70% of the 350,000 households are going off or graduating from the program or exiting from the program. And so when you look at it, plus or minus, we are doing close to 300,000 or a little more to make sure that we get the target. Those that are left on the program who are yet to see significant improvement in their livelihoods are just a few. And so we are working to make sure that by the close of the year, we have the 400,000 household intact and they are benefiting from the program.
Now from the Gender Ministry to the health sector, where the Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Grace Ayensu-Danquah, has expressed concern over Ghana's persistent high maternal mortality rate, warning that urgent action is needed to prevent more women from dying during pregnancy and children.
Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Grace Ayensu-Danquah, has raised concerns over Ghana's maternal mortality rate, describing the number of women dying during pregnancy and childbirth as unacceptable. According to the Deputy Minister, 986 women died from pregnancy and childbirth related complications in 2024, underscoring the need for urgent interventions to strengthen maternal health care across the country. She called for stronger collaboration among health professionals, traditional authorities, and local communities to encourage early antenatal care, improve emergency referrals, and ensure expectant mothers have timely access to skilled healthcare services. The Ministry of Health says reducing maternal deaths remains a national priority as Ghana works towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals on maternal and child health.
From the Health Ministry, we come to the Greater Accra, where the Greater Accra Regional Security Council RESEC has given persons occupying the Beshi Lagoon Ramsar site 21 days to vacate the area. Warning enforcement action will follow if the directive is ignored.
The Greater Accra Regional Security Council has issued a 21-day ultimatum to individuals and developers occupying sections of the Beshi Lagoon Ramsar site to vacate the area. The directive forms part of renewed efforts by authorities to protect wetlands, prevent flooding, and enforce planning and environmental regulations in the capital. REGSEC says the occupation of the protected Ramsar site has contributed to environmental degradation, obstructed natural waterways, and increased the risk of flooding during the rainy season. Authorities have warned that once the 21-day notice expires, demolition and eviction exercises will be carried out against all unauthorized structures remaining on the site. The Regional Security Council is urging affected occupants to comply with the directive, stressing that the exercise is intended to safeguard lives, protect the environment, and preserve one of Ghana's important wetland ecosystems.
We are currently at Laboma. We are here to assess the place and know the kind of building that are designated within the buffer zone. And so all those buildings within those buffers will come down. And so this one, in fact, honestly speaking, we're here to do the exercise. But on a second note, we were told that the occupants, they've not been given enough notice. And so we are here to let them know that we are giving them within 21 days. Those buildings that falls within the buffer should be ready within the 21 days. Either they demolish themselves or RegSec will come back here to do our demolition exercise.
And that's it for the major bulletin. We're bringing you sports, entertainment, as well as business. Details of the business stories brought to you by Nadine Gogo right after this break.
How can we some look fast? Mama, me again. Let's go, Yale. Me call you, ma'am. Who hear me? Meant me and sent my friend doctor when I'm crossing over. See what we swear. She has malaria. Hey, malaria. Oh, what they say? What the router? Me copy the absence. A drone a friend router mixer. Yeah, come malaria draw. And running winter. So Gap trap and the draw ku abaso body ase. Wabo Ruta mixture abaso. Ruta natural products nduane Ruta mixture. Ya e dikutia a treat. Ruta tonic and the Ruta life wa. E huhuru e finish la the body e fini pedue mu. Nasa support immune system no. Ruta de obi ase ye. FDA age dwede nkra to ya tu.
Welcome back from that break. My name is Nadine Gogo. In business, the Bank of Ghana has unveiled a $12.9 billion reserve buffer aimed at strengthening the cedi against external shocks, boosting investor confidence and enhancing the country's foreign exchange stability. The move forms part of broader efforts to build stronger external reserves and safeguard Ghana's macroeconomic stability. The Bank of Ghana has announced a $12.9 billion reserve buffer designed to strengthen the cedi and protect the economy from external shocks. The central bank says the reserve position will enhance its ability to support the foreign exchange market, reduce exchange rate volatility, and reinforce confidence in the Ghanaian currency. The initiative forms part of a broader strategy to build stronger external reserve through improved reserve management and increased gold accumulation, reducing resilience on external borrowing while strengthening the country's economic resilience. The Bank of Ghana believes the stronger reserve buffer will provide greater flexibility to respond to global economic uncertainties, support macroeconomic stability, and sustain confidence in the cedi over the medium term. Still in business, trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange ended on a subdued note, with declining stocks overweighing gainers as investor activities remained muted during the latest market season. The Ghana Stock Exchange recorded a quiet trading session, with major listed equities posting losses as market activities remained relatively subdued. Despite the low trading volume, several key stocks closed lower, dragging the market overall performance and reflecting cautious investor sentiment. Market analysts say investors continue to monitor corporate earnings, macroeconomic development, and movement in the foreign exchange market before making significant investment decisions. The Ghana Stock Exchange says it remained focused on deepening market participation and maintaining confidence as it worked to attract more local and foreign investors to the capital market. Let's go for a break. Up next is sports and entertainment with Wendy Lati.
Infitiasia no menene kunu eware wo odro ene asumdwe kwan so yawo wie na chi no mene kwachu ba hotel papa
pebi. Say besepeo.
What? A team for so crown on my ye.
Bibia wo Nyankopon sem.
Ekoba ne san me kunu antina se.
Eduro botum waje wo. Eye Edek SM Bitters. Waa. Eni gia befi. We na me de yempaibo. Edek SM Bitters. Timase mama me. So wa worry mu eni je bewie wo paya. Na ye kamfo Edek SM Bitters. Mrs. Wa oyem yo nyina monno me no. Okọ one.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Mega News at 6 on NBN TV, and now I'm Wendy Lati. And now on the sports desk, head coach of Ghana's Black Bombers, Ofori Asari, has attributed the team's disappointing performance at the just-ended Commonwealth Games to inadequate logistical support and limited preparations. Black Bombers head coach Ofori Asari says inadequate logistical support contributed to Ghana's disappointing boxing campaign at the just-ended Commonwealth Games. According to the coach, challenges with preparation, resources, and other essential support systems affected the team's ability to compete at the highest level. Ghana's boxing team, which has historically been one of the country's strongest medal prospects at international competitions, struggled to make a significant impact at the Games. Ofori Asari believes improved investment, better planning, and timely support for athletes are needed if Ghana's boxers are to return to the level of success achieved in previous years. The Black Bombers coach is calling for a more structured approach to sports development, particularly in preparing athletes for major international competitions.
I think this one was very disappointing. I'll be bold. Very disappointing in terms of many things, logistics, so many things, even during our preparation up to date. If I have to continue talking, we started this training after there's a national individual championship. And the national individual championship, we selected, there was a technical committee, we selected the team and the coaches as well to the camping at Winneba. We were supposed to train non-residential at the stadium for some time, but all of a sudden we were told they have to move the team to camp very fast. So the team moved to camp. There was a problem, so I didn't follow the team to the camp. The problem was that I'm the head coach, and they called me and they discussed everything, how we are going to the camp, everything to me. And later on, when they are giving me the letter, they didn't explain so many things to me, and they made on my letter, they made it like a lead coach. We are two lead coaches on the letter, and I asked for explanation, and they didn't give me explanation because I'm supposed to be the head coach, and I know that two captains cannot stay in one ship. So I was asking for explanation, and they told me I'm still the head coach, and I said so they should let it be in the letter. So when I was arguing about this, because the other coach was the assistant was a coach that I trained. It was a coach that I took him through a coaching course as well. Yeah. So he cannot be the same share the head coach with me, because maybe how do we plan? Charles Porter. He's a good friend of mine. Yes. I train him in the national team. He's a very good person. He's not a bad person, but they are not putting things the way they are supposed to put. Even
and away from the Black Bomber story in sports, we move to the entertainment segment where Ghanaian music stars Luna and Black Sherif have teamed up for a new emergency single, Cry,
blending their unique storytelling styles to deliver a powerful reflection on pain, resilience, and life struggles.
Ghanaian artists Lona and Black Sherif have joined forces on a new collaboration titled Cry, a deeply emotional song exploring themes of hardship, vulnerability, and hope. The track combines Lona's soulful delivery with Black Sherif's signature storytelling approach, creating a record that speaks to personal battles and the realities faced by many young people. Cry continues the tradition of Ghanaian musicians using music as a platform to express real-life experiences and connect with listeners through relatable messages. The collaboration is expected to resonate with fans across Ghana and beyond, as both artists continue to make their mark on the contemporary African music scene.
And that's it for today on Sports and Entertainment. Coming up is the foreign news with Elsa Morris.
Let me introduce you to Farm Global Company Limited. At Farm Global, we offer you variety of groceries and provisions to choose from. Cosmetics, perfumes, bed sheets, undies, boxes, you can mention all. This is our perfume stand, and we have variety of perfumes you can choose from for yourself and your loved ones. We cover Latapa, fragrance notes, and quality perfumes that will last long on your body. On our cosmetic section, we have variety of lotions, creams, hair pomades that can keep you going. Let your feet do the talking and your hand do the showcasing. Your babies are not left out. We got you covered. At Farm Global, we make shopping a beautiful experience for you and your family. You can be at home, send your list and get it delivered for free. Yes, for free. We know you can pay for it, but we want to show appreciation. We bring everything to you at your doorstep. Locate Farm Global on the Nungwabuade Road, just opposite Redeemer Chemist. Call us on 0592 0999 52 or 050 384 3633. Farm Global, fast, reliable, and convenient.
Welcome back from the sporting arena, also bringing entertainment and business. It's now time to turn our attention to the foreign front, where the editor of one of Ethiopia's leading independent news platform has taken into police custody, according to the publication's publisher, raising fresh concerns over press freedom and the safety of journalists in the country.
The editor of one Ethiopia's prominent independent news website has been detained by police, according to the publication's publisher. The circumstances surrounding the arrest remain unclear, with authorities yet to publicly provide details on the reason for the detention. The incident has sparked renewed concerns among media rights groups over the operating environment for journalists in Ethiopia, where reporters and independent for clarity on the journalists can operate.
Now we go to enhancing security ties among the three countries.
Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan have signed a defense cooperation agreement as the three countries seek to deepen military and strategic relations. The pact is expected to expand collaboration in areas including defense coordination, security cooperation, training, and information sharing. Officials from the three countries say the agreements reflect their commitment to regional stability and strengthening their collective security capabilities. The deal comes amid changing security dynamics in the Middle East and wider Asian region, with countries reassessing partnerships and defense strategies. Analysts say the agreements could have wider geopolitical implications given the strategic influence of Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan in their respective regions.
And this brings us to the end of this evening bulletin, live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Great Estate. Before we take leave of you, a recap of the top stories.
President Mahama unveils cenotaph in honor of late Defense Minister Edward Omane Boamah. In business, Bank of Ghana unveils 12.9 billion BAFA to the independent news site detained by police, publisher says.
Thanks for staying with us. For more news, log on to MBN 360 and make a date with the same time next week. We'll come your way with more of the evening bulletin. My name is El Samuel's Business with Nadede Gogo, Sports and Entertainment with Wendy Na Dulati. Do have a good evening.